Hi, I'm Jason from Nor'Wester Games, and I'm going to quickly teach you how to play Stitches, the card game of monstrous proportions. Let's begin with setup. Each player starts with a human head, torso, arms, and legs, as well as 2 Stitches tokens, a word card, and a player reference card which has 2 sides, scavenge, and attack. You put the right number of Stitches tokens depending on the number of players to form the pot. In this case we have 3 players, so we have 8 Stitches tokens. You'll shuffle the parts deck, put it face down, then draw 3 cards to form the market, as well as shuffling the word cards and putting them next to the market. You'll select a random head and torso for the Abomination, and add 1 card from the parts market. And shuffle the Abomination deck, put that face down, and then select a first player, depending on who felt most like a monster waking up that morning. Each round, players will simultaneously and secretly decide whether they want to scavenge or attack. The first player roars to indicate he's ready. All players close their eyes. He grunts 3 times, and on the 3rd grunt, players open their eyes, leaving their arms up to attack, like Francine, or their arms down to scavenge, like Frank. Alternately, we have a quiet mode for players who are more comfortable with that, in which you use your player reference cards to indicate your preference. The first player will count to 3, and on the count of 3, players reveal whether they're going to scavenge or attack. All scavenging players now split the pot evenly, leaving any remainder. Then, all players resolve their actions in turn order. So, if I'm scavenging, I draw 1 part from the parts deck, and then choose which parts I want to buy. So Mary will choose to buy some tentacle legs, discarding her current legs, and a polar bear arm, paying 6 stitches back to the pot for those 2 pieces. Frank will then draw another card and pay 5 for that polar bear head. So Mary, who's attacking, chooses whether to attack another player or the Abomination. In this case, she's looking at these juicy tentacles. So to take this, which has paper, paper, rock, she needs scissors, scissors, paper on her parts, which she has. So she takes the tentacles, replaces them on her body, leaving poor Mary without any legs, and then they each get a new word. Fire, and grumpy. Okay, so that's the end of the round. We're going to clear the market to the discard, draw 3 new parts into our market, draw a card for the Abomination, which is It Grows. So we're going to add 1 more part to the Abomination. He can put parts wherever he wants because he's an Abomination, he doesn't care. And we'll move the first pro token over. So we're on to the next round. Frank chooses to attack, Francine chooses to scavenge, and Mary chooses to attack. So Francine gets all the stitches, and now Frank will go first and attack. He's looking at these juicy tentacles. He has 2 scissors and a paper to beat the 2 paper and a rock. So he'll take the tentacles, discard his legs, and then they'll each learn a word. Frank learns cookie, Francine learns tummy. Francine is going to buy a bunch of parts from the market. First she'll draw 1 more card, then buy some legs for 4, polar bear arm for 3, and a robot arm for 2. And that makes 2, 5, 9 tokens she spent altogether. And finally, Mary will attack. She's going to go after the new robot arm that Francine just took. She needs a paper and a rock she has to take the robot arm. And then they will also learn 2 new words, friend and kitty. And then we clear the market, draw 3 new parts, draw another Abomination deck card. It attacks. It's going to target the first player's, which is Frank's lowest value part. And since these 2 are tied, it will start at the head and go clockwise. And it does have a paper to beat the rock. So it'll take Frank's part and discard it. Then we move the first player token and move to the next round. Okay, so we're going to skip ahead to where the players are ready to attack the Abomination. Mary's going to start with the attack. And since she knows the word kitty, she'll bring in Mary, who also knows the word kitty. And since she knows the word cookie, she'll bring in Frank, who also knows cookie. We'll turn over the Abomination cards. Find out we're looking at a swamp monster head on a swamp monster body. So it's going to add 1 paper to all the parts around it. And then we'll fill out the Abomination from a shuffled discard pile, adding some tentacles on the side. So Mary's attacking first. She's going to look at the Abomination, see what she can attack. She can't take the head because she only has 1 paper, can't beat these 2 rocks. But she can beat these tentacles down here because she has 1, 2 scissors, and a paper. So she'll take this tentacle, put it to the side. The Abomination will counterattack, attacking her strongest part, her legs, with 2 paper and 1 scissors to take off her legs. Puts that to its side. Next, clockwise, it's going to be Mary's turn. She's going to take a look, and she has 3 scissors and 1 rock, so she can take the 1, 2, 3 paper and the scissors. She'll take these tentacles, put them to the side. The Abomination counterattacks, and it will take, since these 2 parts are tied at 2, moves from the head clockwise and attacks her polar bear arm, which it can take with a paper and a rock. Next, it's Frank's turn. He's going to try to go after this head, which he can do, because he has 1, 2, 3 scissors for 1, 2, 3 paper, and 2 paper to take the 2 rocks. So he's going to take the head and put it to the side. The Abomination will counterattack, taking Frank's polar bear head, since this has 3 rocks to beat the 3 scissors. Now we're back to Francine. She only has scissors left, so she can't take these rocks. She's going to retreat, and as she's the first person to retreat on the team, she has to choose either kitty or cookie, the words that brought her to the team, to discard. She'll discard kitty, and then it will be Mary's turn. Mary's looking. She also can't take this part, so she will also retreat. Since she's the second player to retreat, there's no penalty. Finally, it's Frank's turn. He has the 3 paper to beat the 3 rock, but he doesn't have a scissors to beat this final paper, so he'll retreat, and the Abomination has won this round. So when the attack on the Abomination is complete, the Abomination is going to discard any cards that it took, and players can add the parts that they took to their bodies. And then it would move on to the next player's turn, in this case, Mary. You win the game when you or your team takes the last part from the Abomination, and that's Stitches. Thanks for watching, and you can see more at norwestergames.com or follow us on Twitter at norwestergames.